Joining us now, two members of Congress who both voted for that budget deal. And imagine this, they're from opposite ends of the aisle. We welcome Congressman Brendan Boyle, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, and Congressman Mimi Walters, Republican from California. Congressman Walters, I will begin with you. Already some members are grumbling that the budget deal was rammed down everyone's throats at the last second. And in the Senate theater, Senator Rand Paul says he's going to filibuster it. Do you believe Paul Ryan will be able to bridge the interests of the far right with Democrats and centrist Republicans when it comes to making deals?
I absolutely do. One of the biggest concerns that our Freedom Caucus had was that we did not go through what we call regular order. And it's really the process in which a bill becomes law. And that was their biggest concern. And Speaker Ryan has assured them that we are going to return to regular order. And I believe that is what's going to unite both houses.
Representative Boyle, are you comfortable with Paul Ryan's position right now?
Yeah, well, so first, I'm friends with Paul, so I can't help but personally be happy for him. And I am hopeful that what Mimi just talked about turns out to be true. In the end, though, I think that it remains to be seen if that 40-member, 50-member diehard Freedom Caucus will ever actually vote yes on anything. They, frankly, have been the biggest obstacle to Democrats and Republicans coming together here. And if Paul Ryan is able to bridge that, then it would actually be not only in the best interest of Republicans, it'd be in the best interest of the country. Right. Frankly, I'm skeptical, though, if he's going to be able to do that, not because he isn't a very talented person, but because on substance, he did vote exactly the same way as Boehner on most of those issues that they have a problem with.
Well, Congressman Walters, Brendan Boyle has an important point here. Can he do that? You have that smaller minority, the Freedom Caucus. They're very about their opinions. We understand that. But I liked what Congressman Ryan said. He said, we have nothing to fear from honest differences, that we can get together and maybe discuss them. Maybe it's the process versus the final outcome battle that we should be focusing on.
Exactly, it is the process, and that has been their biggest complaint this whole time. And I think that that's what ultimately led to them trying to remove Speaker Boehner, was they were frustrated with the process. And, you know, Speaker Ryan has said that we will return to regular order so everybody can have their bills heard and every voice can be heard. And it's the people's house. And we need to get back to it being the people's house.
There was a third Republican debate I'm sure you heard about last night, and there was criticism flowing all kinds, at the candidates, at the moderators, at the network itself. But the substance of it, perhaps, is really what we should be focusing on. There were some criticisms that the questions really didn't depend on what was promised. That was your money, your vote. Let's just listen to that frustration bubbling over. It was a question to Jeb Bush about whether fantasy football should be regulated by the government, but that's when Governor Chris Christie jumped in. Listen, and we'll have you react.
We have $19 trillion in debt. We have people out of work. We have ISIS and Al-Qaeda attacking us. And we're talking about fantasy football? Can we stop?
Representative Boyle, to me, I looked at that, and it's the first time I sat up and said, well, yes, we've got infrastructure problems. We have bridges falling down. And where were the questions of substance? You know, I thought to myself, what were the dream questions that we would have liked to see? Mine would have been, and then I want to hear yours, how would you, as each of the candidates, create jobs, stimulate job creation without spending a dime of taxpayer money? That's what I would have asked. I will begin with you, Representative Walters. What would you have asked? What would you wish had been asked of these candidates?
Exactly that question. And by the way, the fact that government should be creating jobs is a flawed argument. How we need to create jobs and put American people back to work is we need to create jobs through entrepreneurs, through small businesses especially. And when we have a corporate tax structure where corporations are paying nearly 40% in taxes, we need to reform our tax structure so that those corporations will reinvest in America and create jobs and create private sector jobs.
Representative Brendan Boyle, you've got a potential of losing Pfizer, one of the world's largest pharmas. They might hook up with Allergan because Allergan is based in Ireland and they have much more friendly tax rates. What would have been your business-related question that you wish had been asked last night?
So my business-related question is a very specific one, and that is, will you, any and all of the Republican candidates for president, commit right here, right now, to do what Ronald Reagan did and Bill Clinton did and bipartisan presidents of the past and commit to doing a real major infrastructure bill like the one we need in this country.
But real is the important word, Congressman.
Right, real, and it isn't expensive. And it actually takes, there's a group out there, Mike Bloomberg, former Governor Rendell, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a bipartisan group of former governors that are saying we need to come together and fund our infrastructure, which used to be #1 in the world 100 years ago, and now is not ranked in the top 20 by worldwide engineers. That's a disgrace.
Well,
that affects American competitiveness, and it actually needs to be a national priority. I would like to see one of these Republican candidates say that they're going to stand up and lead a government effort in a proper role for government, providing for infrastructure.
Well, there's a huge pothole on the Jersey Turnpike I would just love fixed, so we'll see. We'll see.
I've probably driven over that. So.
Yeah, no, we started with the Republican, we'll end with the Democrat. It's great to have you both. Congressman Brendan Boyle, Congresswoman Mimi Walters. We'll have you back. We love to see both sides of the aisle standing here and talking about the issues. Thank you.